Focal Horizon. What are they? Are they any good? And should you buy them? Let's try and answer those questions. Hi guys, welcome back to another video, where today we take a look at Focal Horizon models and answer those questions. Starting with, what are they? What is Focal Horizon models? Well, Focal Horizon is a brand that has started to gain a lot of traction over the past year or so, with the anticipation of these three models. Now, in my opinion, it was a very smart move to choose these three cars as their first three cars, as obviously Skylines will always hold and always gain traction. But they are doing a few more models as well, continuing with the Skyline theme, doing an R32 as well, but they're also doing a Mark IV Golf in multiple colours, which I'll definitely be checking out as soon as that lands. But obviously today we have the R33s. As you can see, the silver one is the 400R model, which we will compare to an Inno 64 model. But before we jump into that, are Focal Horizon any good? Starting with the packaging and the price point. The packaging is the type I actually praise a lot, as it's really sturdy, it's got protection against scratches on the actual case, and overall looks a lot better than your standard sleeve, which has a tendency to crease or tear quite easily. But that aside, the price point does kind of reflect the more packaging and the premium more look, as it's around £25 to £30, which obviously is a little bit more than your standard Inno, which is around 20 to 25. Not a huge difference, but still significant nonetheless. So with the price point established, I am going to still point out that obviously the silver one is the 400R and the black and the red are regular R33s. But besides that big difference, they are all individually numbered as well, up to 999. So all got their own individual number, so you can get number 1 or obviously like I say your favourite number if you do want to. But obviously the big standout feature for these models is that opening hood feature, which you did see. Obviously it's got the full detailed RB26 engine and also that bonnet stay rod as well, which is really nice. It doesn't feel fragile and it stands up very nicely. You can also see how the headlight surround is actually behind the headlights and just how clear the headlights actually are as well. But something to note is when the bonnet closed, you can just see how smooth that body line is. You can't really tell that the bonnet opens, which is extremely good fitment, as it's not stiff or hard to open at all. It's really smooth. The only issue I would say is it does wobble side to side a little bit, but it's not loose in any way. You can also see this model sits on the proper 400R wheels, and also it's got the red brake caliper to complement the badges really well. But you can just also see on the rear of the model just how good the depth is in the tail lights. Obviously also to go with that massive exhaust and obviously the big chunky rear bumper of the R33. But you can also see, like I say, it comes with the heated rear window, and obviously it's got the little carbon GTR badge on the side of the spoiler. So again, just really nice little features. But I did say I'll compare them to an Inno 64, and that is going to be in this video. So here it is. Starting with the models side by side, you can already see the Focal Horizon just sits a little bit lower, which in my opinion looks a lot more complete. But you can also see, like I mentioned earlier, the headlight cover is on the surround is embedded into the headlight on the Focal Horizon, and it's sat on the outside of the headlight on the R33. You can also just see that the Focal Horizon front bumper is a little bit more defined and has a little bit more curvature to it, which again just keeps adding to the realism. But something to also note is the Inno 64 does have little extras, like it does have the Nismo plate on the front, which is also carbon detailed, whereas on the Focal it's just a regular black plate. Now that goes for the grille as well, or the intercooler. It's got the Nismo on the intercooler, but it hasn't on the Focal Horizon. But again, that goes for the style in real life, whichever you actually go for, so both are technically correct. But that brings us onto proportion, which in my opinion, I do think Focal Horizon have completely smashed this out of the park. You can just see the body lines are so much smoother, and the arch flare is just so much more subtle on the Focal model, which in turn has made the whole model a lot smoother looking, like I say. Obviously, they both come on the 18-inch forged 3-piece wheels, but again, the focals just look a little bit better suited. But that goes without saying, Inno has the concave and also the smaller details like the lettering on the wheels. The Inno 64 does also have the carbon effect under the rear side of the spoiler with the Nismo decal. Now, I'm not going to mention too much on quality control, just the details I'd mentioned and the forgotten, but again, they've both got the GTR badges front and rear, but focal horizons is a little bit smaller but still visible, which seems to kind of be the way with these castings. They both have the details, but focals seem to be a little bit better done. You can see the GTR badge is just a little bit more inset into the grille and at a slightly little bit of an angle, whereas the Innos, they haven't really got the clarity, but you can still see they are the GTR badges. And again, that goes for the rear of the model. You can see the GTR badge on the rear is a little bit bigger on the Inno than it is the focal, but you can still see the focals a lot clearer. But then, obviously, the standout and the big point is obviously where the opening hood. Obviously, Inno 64 doesn't have that, and none of their cars do come with that. So, obviously, we can't really compare them in that sense. So that's where you move over to the likes of Time Micro. And if you do want a comparison versus Time Micro, let me know in the comments, as that was something I'll do on a separate video. But now let's move on to the regular R33 models. Now, I could have also done a comparison between these and the regular Inno 64 R33s, but I think you do get the idea of the differences. But you can see that they all come in the same style packaging with all the logos, all the warnings, and all the colours to match the cars inside. The black for black, silver for silver, and the red for red coming up. But you can also see they all come on the white base, which is made to replicate the leather base with the stitching around the side, which is like the Time Micro models and others like that. Now, I should have probably wore gloves when unboxing this model, as unfortunately you will see that in the end when I am handling it, I do end up getting a lot of fingerprint on it, but it does wipe off very easily with a little cloth, but you do have to be careful with knocking small parts off. But that aside, you can see off the bat it looks pretty much perfect. It comes on some really nice bronze wheels, which really complement the car really well. Now, that is something I am going to point out, is the wheels and how the wheel choice does affect the car, as sometimes like Time Micro and Inno 64, they tend to use the same wheels, which often don't look the best, and you do have to wheel swap them. Obviously, they are all screw bases, so it's not too hard to wheel swap them, but with these, you don't even have to if you don't want to. They look already very good. I did also mention earlier in the video that all of the models are individually numbered, and if you didn't catch the number for this one, it is 427 out of 999, so just below the halfway mark. But obviously, as you can see, it does come with the obviously standout feature of the opening bonnet with the stay rod, and obviously it closes nice and smooth, which is obviously really nice, as it's not loose or anything, and it's not really tight either, like the pop race models we do see. Now, as you saw there, the wheels do spin very well on this model, and obviously it's got the bright red calipers that stay in place as well. So again, just adding to the detail. Obviously, all the badges are the same as the 400R. Obviously, this doesn't have the body kit. But besides that, and even though it is a black car and you do tend to lose a lot of the body lines in that, you can still see how smooth it does look, and all the individual panels as well, like the door panels and the fenders. Also, it's a nice little touch, you can see the door handles as well. But this doesn't mean the models are perfect, as the interior is pretty basic, with only the basic details done. But besides that, overall you can just see how well and how incredible the actual model is, as it has got all the same details as the 400R has. But that brings us to the red R33, where you can just see already how bright it is, including the matching red box. Now, that's obviously a testament to the paint application and just how good the paint job is, as it's very well applied and just super bright. Now, the reds that are used are very similar to all the reds used across the board from all diecast. It's never usually a deep red, but you can still see it does pop and it's super bright. But like I say, all of these models detail wise are the same. They've all got the opening hoods, they've all got the detailed RB chrome engine, they've all got the basic interiors, and also all the little details like the calipers, the inset surround on the headlights, and like I say, just the detailed badges, etc. It's all just the same. Obviously you can see this one comes on blue calipers instead of red, just because obviously the whole car is red. But like I say, detail wise, proportion wise, for the detail on the engine, like I say, the underside of the hood again painted really nice touch, but again all the same. So that brings us on to the final question, which is, should you buy one? And the answer is, it's completely up to you. I can't tell you what to buy for your collection. Obviously I've showcased them against an Inno 64, but it is a disadvantage on Inno with the opening hood feature that these do have. So like I say, would be more of a time micro comparison, but then again, I also do understand that the more detail the models have, the price does keep going up. So then it's completely up to you to decide, is it worth the more detail for what you're paying? Is what you're paying for worth what you're getting? But again, I can't tell you the answer. That's completely up to you to decide. My job is to just showcase the models and be as unbiased as I can with each review. Obviously, some models will possess a lot more detail and some models will wow me a lot more than others. But let me know in the comments, do you think I'm quite fair on these models, or do you think I am biased in any way? But like I say, it's just my job to showcase the models to you and let you decide what you want to do with that information. If you go out and buy the models, that's fantastic. We do sell the models on Facebook down below if you do want to go and check us out and buy any of the models you do see reviewed, as they all do go for sale on the Facebook page, either in auctions, raffles, or just sales throughout the week. Or you can just ask your local diecast distributor, as more than likely they will be able to get them as well. And always support local businesses, that's always the way forward. But to answer the question at the start of the video, what is Focal Horizon? Well, Focal Horizon, in my opinion, is a force to be reckoned with. It's a brand to take notice of, as it's definitely going to be coming out with some incredible models. What are the models like? As you can see, very well done. Ties into the first answer, a storm to be reckoned with. And like I say, I've already answered the last question. It's not up to me. If you should buy them, it's completely up to you. But with all that being said, I am going to start to wrap the video up here, guys. If you have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you can, drop a like and subscribe if you are new, that would be great, as it really does help the channel out. But like I say, I am going to wrap it up here, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.